We've got ourselves an AFC North showdown to kick off Week 10 in the NFL. The Bengals and Ravens, they will battle on Thursday Night Football. And we're going to discuss some of the best bets around this game with Eric Richter. He's a sports betting analyst for the New York Post, who joins me for this edition of Hitting the Books. Eric, what's going on?
Thanks. How we doing, man? Big Thursday Night Football game. Huge.
Big one. Yeah, it's a huge one. Huge one. Got an AFC North showdown. Should be fun. But let's start looking at this game by looking at the spread. The home team, the Ravens, they're favored by 6 points in this matchup. Do you like Baltimore to cover here or Cincinnati to pull the upset?
Well, I'll start with this, right? Cincinnati's had an interesting season, right? They've struggled a little bit, especially in the early going. They lost a lot of close games, right? The way these two teams met up before, it was a 41-38 slugfest. Had Adam McPherson kicked the field goal at the end of regulation, they would have won. He missed, or I believe that was in overtime, But so Cincinnati's had some unlucky situations occur. But DVOA loves them. They're 17th in DVOA despite a 4-5 record. The 17th in DVOA spot would put you up there with the Falcons, who are winning their division, the Rams, who have really come on of late and have a better record. DVOA likes them. The advanced analytics like them. My model doesn't love the spread, but it loves the money line plus 225 for the Cincinnati Bengals. To where I'm putting my money. Give me the Cincinnati Bengals plus 225 on the money line. Pass on the spread. 6 isn't a good enough number. I will take the Cincinnati Bengals to win outright plus 225. Their offense is one of the best in the league. They have a top 10 DVOA offense. Their passing offense is fantastic, and the Ravens' pass defense is horrific. They're allowing 280 yards through the air per game, worst in the NFL. Bad against deep passes, and we'll have a little bit more on that a little bit later.
Yeah, well, I love that play there. You get great value there, plus 225 if you take the Bengals. So interesting play there not to go with the spread. Now, you talked about the Ravens' defense not being good, particularly their pass defense, right? Has not been good all season. And then you see a pretty high total points line for this one, which is currently at 53. Are you going over or under 53 total points in this contest?
Yeah, there's some money coming in on the under as of today. It was 53. It's been 52.5. It's been going back and forth. My model likes the under, but only at a 0.61% edge. There's not a whole lot of value betting the under. I don't like either defense here. In particular, the Cincinnati Bengals are 25th ranked DVOA on defense, which is why they're 17th rated. There is a little bit of positive on that side. They're allowing the third worst yards per play in the NFL in the last 3 games. So there is some reason for optimism that the Bengals defense isn't quite as bad as we've seen up to this year. But for me, I'm not going to touch the total. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to be a Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson classic, and I'm excited.
Yeah, well, hey, the fans for Thursday Night Football, they want to see the points. It wouldn't shock me with the way the Baltimore Ravens defense is if this goes over. So we'll see how this all plays out. Last thing for me, what we got to do. We got to give the people some player props, Eric. What 2 player props do you like for this game? Give me one for each team. What do you got?
All right, yeah, so we're going Lamar Jackson over 19.5 completions. He's 5-4 to the over here on the season. So, it's not like he's 7-0 or anything like that. He's 5-4 to the over. He had 26 completions against the Bengals last time out, though, and I'm expecting a really I'm expecting a lot of points in this one. So, give me the over on 19.5 completions. The Bengals, like I said, they're a little bit better on the yards per play. So I'm expecting a little bit more of a dink and dunk affair for Baltimore on that side. So 19.5 over there. Bengals allowed at least 20 completions in six straight games to start the year. So we know that the Bengals defense, they're not great. And then we shift over to the Bengals. The Ravens traded for Tre'Davious White at the deadline. I'm not sure if he's going to play today. But even if he does, their defense needs a lot more than Tre'Davious White in order for me to change their outlook for the season. Jamar Chase had 193 receiving yards to start in the first matchup. He had 2 touchdowns. So for me, I'm going to go over with Jamar Chase. We watched the Bengals, the Baltimore Ravens get roasted by Cedric Tillman, 99 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Jamar Chase, a different animal. And like I said, 280 yards per game through the air is the worst in the NFL. They're worst against the deep. They're 31st against deep passes, and they their secondary it's been a disaster this year, which is why they tried to address it at the deadline. But fifth most yards per route run in the NFL. Jamar Chase going to eat up here. No T. Higgins. They have to feed Jamar Chase the ball at will. So give me over 80.5 receiving yards for Jamar Chase. If you have access to Bet365, 125 plus is plus 375. He's completed it 3 times already this year, 4 times out of 7 against the Ravens in his career. I mean, you could even go higher if you wanted to, sprinkle some more value. But, he had a 200-yard game against the Ravens 2 years ago. So he owns the Ravens. Jamar Chase overs all over.
All right, so 2 overs in terms of your player props. Got Jamar Chase on the receiving yards and Lamar Jackson on passing completions. We'll see how those play out. Should be an exciting one, an interesting one on Thursday Night Football as the Bengals visit the Ravens. That is Eric Richter, sports betting analyst for the New York Post, joining us here on Hitting the Books. Eric, appreciate you, man. We will chat more betting soon.
Let's catch some tickets.